Alright guys, we're gonna get this thing started off here, okay? So the first thing we're gonna go over is going to be let's go over this here. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna run and grab some water real quick. Alright. So sorry for this. Alright, let's go over everything now, guys. Let's break it all down. First thing we're going to take a look at is, let's look at news here. I think tomorrow we're going to get a sell-off on markets. Heavy. Might look light, but we heavy though, right? Reason being is because of the NFP reports. And I talked about this on my Instagram story, okay, the other day. The reason this is so important is because, again, so many people are unaware of how important NFP is because it dictates market trends. And I'm pretty sure I broke this down in depth with a lot of students, our VIP students. I'm actually going to upload one call recording so you guys can see what it's like to go inside the vault of, you know, some of the VIP students that we have, right? What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to break down exactly what I'm looking at specifically, okay, in this chart, and why it's so important for you to understand how bad this is. The last time we had anything near as bad of data was back in like maybe we could actually take a look, 2012, 10 years ago, back to back under 100K. You got to go all the way back to 2012. You have 88K, but that's a one-off. Back to back 2012, July and May of 2012. This was bottom of markets, okay? 2011. These were all downtrending markets here. Wow, it doesn't even give me 2012 here. Yeah, this doesn't even give me 2012. Wow. About, wow, 5 years to recover. So, I mean, back-to-back, 3 back-to-back like that, under 100K, 2010, 2011, 2012. Really bad recessionary years. But anything under 50K, we're going to see a lot of bearish movement. Dixie's going to move to the upside, and we're going to see markets plummet tomorrow. I understand NVIDIA earnings came out, and everybody thinks NVIDIA earnings are going to pump up the market. Not necessarily here. NVIDIA earnings was just the pullback for SPX is what I believe, and it could create a lower low. And I'm going to prove it to you guys on this call. Okay? So let's scroll down. Let's look if there's anything else that's going to affect the market. No. Nothing. It's going to be this report and unemployment rate being above 4.3%. This is very high. This is still very high. Very, very high still unemployment. I just want to look at something else here. We might get that rate cut. We might be forced to get that rate cut. I want to look at something else too. Well, that's interesting, right? That's super interesting. Because if Dixie seasonality says we go all the way bullish in November, we still have a ways to go, huh? With DXY futures. Interesting. Very rarely do I ever see Dixie this is what I'm looking for. Okay, we called Dixie buys here, and we were looking for breaks of structure, internal breaks of structure, which was a good thing. This was the BOS. I don't know why this isn't marked up here. This was the BOS. Basically means we're targeting these highs. These highs have already been wiped out. The next high we're probably targeting is going to be this area here. This piece of external structure. Okay? There's a gap that needs to be filled here that I've been calling since freaking, oh my god, since we were here. Back in September. When we had this break of structure. Right? Remember that, guys? The moment I saw this break of structure, I knew it was over for the markets. Okay? So, and everybody called me crazy, right? Everybody thought I was wild. Now everybody's bearish. Alright, so what I'm looking for is, obviously we filled in this gap here. This thing's on an uptrend. There's no way in hell I'm believing Dixie's going to move to the downside. What does this mean? Dixie's moving to the upside. That means even more bleeding here, guys. Okay, the only thing that I could look at is this right here. And I called buys on the live session yesterday. You guys can go check it out. I did say that Dixie would move to the upside, so we're going to sell everything else. That's why, obviously, our SPY did really, really good, right? Our SPY is doing really well, right? Yesterday, I called sells from here to this bottom area. Now, it's reversed, right? Why did it reverse? Because of NVIDIA earnings today. But, does that mean it's over, John? Does that mean it's over? Now, today's a new day. Let's look at some other trades. I believe that we're still going to create lower lows. I don't believe this is the bottom. I believe, yes, we've mitigated this area. But it doesn't mean that it's over. Another selling area that I'm looking at specifically is going to be here. right? This specific zone here has to get mitigated, this order block. Even this specific area here is most likely, this refined order block needs to get mitigated as well. But to be honest, there's so much bullish pressure here, it's going to probably come down, re-mitigate this zone, then go to the downside. What's going to push it? If NFP is lower than expected tomorrow, this is my guess. I don't know if I'm going to be right. But if NFP is lower than expected tomorrow, like let's say it's bad, like let's say it's under 53K, like let's say it's at like 10K, then it's probably going to increase the chances of us getting a rate cut. Oh, if it's like let's say 40K, 30K, chances of us getting a rate cut might go higher. Now, if it's above 53K, I could see that actually markets would drop because the chances of us getting a rate cut are going to shorten. Make sense? Now, I can be wrong, but I'm interested. And the only reason I don't know if I'm right. And usually, I don't say that on the call. Usually, I'm always pretty certain with news because I'm really good at reading news. I mean, you guys can tell. The only reason I'm not certain is I'm a little weary of how the market's going to react tomorrow. And it's because we just left a government shutdown. This is the first report after a government shutdown. We haven't had a major news event since the government shutdown. Yeah, we've had some CPI and stuff, but not really. This is the first news event from a government shutdown. So all hell can break loose. Okay? If the market is really, really fearing a job recession, then the market's moving, then any news worse than 53K, the market can really move in any direction. Institutions would maybe freak out and sell off. Now, again, it could also create the opposite effect because it increases our chances of a rate cut and more money printing potentially, right? So we have to be careful. I'm very curious to see how the market's going to react to sentiment tomorrow. Very curious because, to be honest, I'm not sure how it's going to react because we're out of a government shutdown. We haven't been trading with news for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And normally, guys, I'm always trading with news. So I'm very curious to see how it reacts tomorrow. Okay, but for me to just be safe, I'm looking for shorts on external structure, most likely here, for SPY tomorrow. And no BOS. If we get no BOS here, this can go to where I believe SPY would really want to go, okay, and make our third wave down, and that's the 1.62. This is what I'm kind of looking at. Very dependent on how markets react tomorrow and how the news is. If the news is a lot more bullish than expected, then I don't expect SPY to drop down here. But I would love to see a weekly level get tested here with SPY. That's the only reason why. And a potential weekly level get broken. That's what I really, really want. Am I going to get it? I don't know. But I would love for this weekly indecisional candle here to get tested. That would be the best thing for me. And then what would I start doing? I would start buying here. At that area, once we hit that weekly level, I'd start buying. For sure. Right? Now, am I going to get spoiled like with that? I don't know. Probably not. We don't know. But that would then, long term, I'm still bullish on markets, lead us to 7,200, big areas here. But in the short term, I do want to see it respect this area, and I want to see things go lower. Okay? Short term. NOS looks actually pretty bullish. This looks really good. We're not going to have to see tomorrow. Russell here. Let's look at Russell. Okay? Well, Russell, all it did, we were in profit, hit our stop profit. Now we're looking at another entry. So let's look at what's going on with Russell here. Russell, again, to be safer, I want to look at this area. Russell's still bearish, guys. Like, this doesn't change my opinion on Russell at all. The only way I would change my opinion on Russell is if, because we call it sells here, is if it breaks this structural point. This is a very, very big area. It cannot break this area. As long as it stays in this downtrend here on external structure, I'm calling for Russell to still go to 2280. But if we see a break of structure, it's fine. Then all we'll do is we'll catch the pullback and run this to the upside to all-time highs. Okay? Because it could signify a shift in trend. Now, obviously, we can take a look at reasons why I believe Russell's still going to go down, regardless of what other people are saying. We've broken structure here. On the 4 hour, we've broken structure here. On the 8 hour, we've broken structure here on the 12 hour. And most importantly, we've broken structure here on the daily. With that many breaks of structure, hold on, let's look. Did it break structure on the daily? Let's look. Let's investigate together, guys. No, did we or did we not? No, we didn't. Almost every time frame other than the daily. Let's look at 2-day. No, we didn't. Weekly. No, we didn't. Okay, so, interesting. The daily actually outweighs it. I really want to see the reaction here. Because if this thing does decide to move lower, this could be the low, the bottom of the market, and then we could see all-time highs. Or this could mitigate this zone that I marked up, and we could go to where I believe would be a really good buying opportunity, this area here. 2270. I'm almost hoping for one more liquidation. Okay. Why am I hoping for one more liquidation? We were talking about this on our call yesterday. Okay. You see this right here? This gap right here still needs to get filled. That area right there still needs to get filled. Okay? On the volatility, on the VIX. So with that, we know that long term we could see some really, really crazy movement with SPX. Most likely bearish movement. Okay? Most likely a lot of bearish movement here. All right, what am I looking at next here? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Bond market continues to the upside. That means yields are going down. I mean, 10-year yields are going up, which means bonds are going down. Liquidity is flowing out of bonds right now. This right here is such a good trade. I'm up about $2,000 on this. So some light work, a light pack here. I took some profit from this initial buy that I called, but I got into another buy right here during our session, and I took another buy here this morning. So I'm waiting to see what happens with gold. We do have some solid breaks of structure here, which is great, which is decent. But did we mitigate any zone? No, we didn't. So I'm just waiting for the range here to be obviously hit. And then I could see some bearish movement come here. Come near this zone here. This is what I'm looking for. Internal sells. Or external selling zone. Yeah, so you see this area here? We're currently up right now from the trade idea about 9,329 points, 900 pips. I'm up an easy $2,000 here. But what I am looking for is an extension to the upside, potentially. As seasonality, usually November and December, gold starts to move to the upside. Usually a very easy trade. We could easily see, I don't want to, jinx it here, but there's a big possibility of internal structure getting broken. I mean, internal mitigations here that have yet to been filled. And then also this specific area here, the 2.168. And it kind of aligns with the pullback that I'm looking at on the daily, right? This structural point. You see that? We have some confluence with you see that confluence here? That's like fucking incredible. You see that, guys? You can't even make that up. This is where I would start taking profits here. Okay. We have internal and external. We have macro, external, and then internal structural points that I'm looking at. So I'm looking at 46.88. So right now I'm up 2,000 bucks. If this hits my zone here, 60,000. I'm up 2,000 bucks on a 1,000 pip move. I mean, shit, if this hits my zone, man. Bruh. I'll be up like 20, 25K. Not too shabby. What I'm really looking for is a pullback, though, and another extension to the upside, because so that way I can get some more. So that way I can get at least 40, 50K before the end of the month, and I can kind of fucking chill. Yeah, it's whatever. So let me look at this here. GU came up to our zone, sold off, right? Shocker. Not a shocker. USD CAD did what I absolutely hate and despise, dude. This thing hit my stop loss and then ran it up. Very shocked, to be honest. It broke structures. That means it is bullish here. I'm not gonna lie, I did lose like 400 or 500 bucks on this trade, but this thing's gonna run to the upside now. So re-entry would be here if you can make it. But to be honest, this thing's probably on internal or external buying strike. This thing's probably gonna rally right now from here. Let's look at crypto. Since everybody wants to know what crypto is doing, let's look at crypto. Okay, let's take a look at crypto. All right, let's look at crypto. Crypto. I'm probably gonna name my future dog Crypto. Wow, crypto's fucked. I'm sorry, guys, for my language. Oh wait, no, it might not be. It might be okay. I mean, I kind of called the bear market, so if it breaks this, crypto is really done. But we're going to see a big pullback. We're going to see a big pullback. Crazy how I told everybody to start taking 30% of profit of everything. Here, here, and over here. And they called me crazy for doing that too. Can you believe that? When we were buying down here and down here. You see my lines here? We see my buying zones here? We really fucking do this, guys. We really fucking do this. Okay? Let me go back to this. Let's look at the others. I just want to look at excluding these other ones. Let me see what's going on here. What's going on here? I mean, this looks terrible. Alts are probably going to drop a little bit more. Yeah, you're looking at another 5 to 10% drop on alts altogether. This doesn't look too bad. This looks like it's fully mitigated. But Bitcoin dominance starting to rally. Shifting structure here as well on the daily. Breaking targets. Shift in momentum. Large volume. Let's look at the 2-day. Looks like it's pulling back for a little bit. Wow, Bitcoin dominance is rallying. You don't want to see that. I called sells last night. Here. See that? Right here. Price sold off to here. I want to see how price reacts here, because if not, we're going to see a big pullback. We could see a pullback to at least potentially here again. So there is a possibility of a pullback that deep. Still in profit. To be honest, probably going to start getting out. But because crypto's kind of fucked, and this is why. This area should have never gotten broken. There's nothing stopping price other than a small indecision on the 87, but the real candle that's going to stop it is here, 85 to 83. So, you know, whatever happens, happens, but this zone's going to most likely get hit. And then if we break past that, we're for sure going to 77K. And we'll probably break it, to be honest. Alright guys, yeah, Bitcoin's done. Let's look at Nvidia right now. Should move past that upside here. Alright guys, I'm going to be trading live tomorrow, but I did give you guys some good trade ideas here, some really good ideas on what I'm doing next. I'm just going to be holding, and I'm looking at some more buys. But I